experience the world around us. And when you think about it, if our body is housing all the sensory organs that allows us to interact with the environment and for the environment to now send us signals, if we don't keep up with that and keep our vehicle healthy, we're more likely to get stranded on the side of the road and not be able to experience all the things that we want to in life, because it's not just about everything that we do physically to take care of ourselves. Everything that we do to put into our body is having that same effect. And in some ways, it's even more important than what we're doing with our body, because that is the fuel that our bodies rely on in order to have the strongest immune system, and allows us to go out and exercise and recover in a way so that we're actually getting stronger and healthier in the process. Because stress is one of the most degenerative things that could happen to ourselves. And so when we're taking care of our vehicle, we are managing that stress and we are strong enough to recover from it and counteract it in the future. Number 2 is to protect your mind, because when we're on our own journey and we're on our own trip, we need to stay focused on our own lane and not drift unnecessarily or miss our exit. And today, it's even more important to pay attention to these things, because we have so much information and influence that we don't necessarily have control over. Whether it's with your social media feed or the news, and how much information is just getting processed on a daily basis, it's easy to lose track and not stay in your lane. And it reminds me of the book by Napoleon Hill, and he talks about this idea of cognitive drift. In that with all this influence that we have since we were a kid, whether it's from our community or our parents and even school, that we lose track of our ability to think for ourselves and have a desired destination for our own life in mind and stick to it no matter what. And it's another reason why I'm a big fan of reading books, because you are in complete control over the information that you're consuming, because you could look ahead and see what the book's about. And even when you have a desire to learn about something, or there's a goal that you have in mind that you're working towards, you can go out of your way to physically pick the exact materials that you want that are going to support you along that trip. And in that way, you are very protective over what you are consuming and not having all of these other outside forces that may have different beliefs, different values and morals that are separate from yours, that are in a subconscious way dictating your worldviews in a very small and seemingly innocuous way. But over time, those things build up, and they could have a powerful effect on how you think, how you feel, and ultimately what you do with your life. Number 3 is to have a purpose. And this is your GPS, which is giving you direction. And this can be on a small scale, or this can be on a larger scale for where you want your life to go. And I've read that there's research that shows that people that are spiritual or religious tend to live longer. And a large part of that is not just because of the belief in something higher than themselves alone. It's because they tend to have more of these other lifestyle practices, one of which is having a purpose. And I think a big reason for that as well is, even when challenging times come, or things that you perceive as negative, or things that you don't prefer, you still see the optimism in it. You could look at those challenges as necessary parts of your journey in order for you to grow, evolve, and become a better person through challenging times. Rather than feeling like life is happening to you and things are unfair, you can look at it from a bigger perspective and see, and even ask yourself, which is the most important thing, how is this going to benefit me in my life. So even if you have a large sense of purpose and you want to do great things and serve a lot of people, that can be very fulfilling. But even on a small scale, if you don't have a career or something that you really desire on a large scale to serve a lot of people, there are many things that you can do on a daily basis in small ways to be in service of others. Whether it's just being kind and wanting to support people, whether they're strangers or your friends, having that sense of purpose can allow you to find fulfillment in all areas of your life, regardless if things are going well or if you're going through a challenging time, which are bound to happen. Nothing in life is perfect and nothing is ever going to go smoothly 100% of the time. But when you have that GPS, you always have a direction for where your life is going, and that will make you feel like everything is happening for a reason and it's all going to be okay. The next thing is to prioritize your hobbies, because this is the difference between taking this long road trip in silence versus having your favorite music on full blast the whole time, or your favorite podcast or whatever it is that you really enjoy listening to that has an emotional response that's positive and allows you to get lost in the moment so that the miles feel like seconds have passed. And there's another really fulfilling and even purpose-driven aspect of not being good at something or not feeling competent in something and devoting a lot of time, attention, and energy to it and seeing yourself become confident. And I believe that's one of the best feelings that anybody could ever go through, is that observation of a complete transformation of having no skill and through dedication, practice, and patience, developing a skill that allows you to get into a flow state whenever you choose in that activity. Because one of the aspects of getting into a flow state is having the right amount of challenge that can develop your skill. And you can see a progression through whatever hobby that may be, is that the skill level, or the challenge will have to be low enough to meet your skill level. And as you develop your skills, that challenge naturally increases, as does your skill to meet it. And as that challenge and skills start going through this back and forth kind of change in dynamic, the depth of your flow state begins to increase along with it as well, so that you lose all track of time, you lose track of yourself, and whatever problems that you may be going through in life, that can become a sanctuary. And the best part about it is when you have these hobbies and these skills that you developed, you can tap into that at will. So whenever you're going through a tough time, like in my case, I picked up golf and I picked up pool after my days of playing sports were over, and I started finding new things that I can challenge myself with. And so whenever I find myself going through a tough time, or I feel like I'm getting burnt out, or I'm in this kind of cycle, if you will, I make it a priority to now set time aside on the weekends or during my free time to go to the pool hall or to go to the golf course, so that I can develop skills and put my attention and focus on something productive that is bringing me more joy and making me feel a little bit more fulfilled, even in the midst of all these other external circumstances that we have no control over. Because life is going to happen to you. We have to go to work. We have these responsibilities, but we also have a responsibility to ourselves to take care of our mental, physical, and emotional health in all the ways that we have available to us. And lastly, invest in people, because who you have in the car with you will make the biggest difference. And I believe that there is this law of reciprocity, where the things that you project out into the world and to the people around you naturally will come back to you. And when you have a respect for people, or you show people that you care, they will naturally do the same back to you. And when I was younger, I was very shy and I had a hard time talking to people and creating new relationships. And I remember I was listening to this lady who was a relationship expert, and she was teaching people how you can become charismatic, and that it wasn't something that you were just born with, it was something that you can develop. And she talked about people that were the most popular, say in high school or college, were the ones who tended to like the most people. So, put simply, the people who like the most people are the people who are liked by the most people. And again, that can mean not only just your friendships and the people around you and in the community, but also strangers. Like the places that you go to on a daily basis, that you have a routine of going to, the more often you get into a habit of just saying hi to people and being polite, they will naturally do that same thing back to you, so that you can have this sense of connection wherever you are in the world, just by bringing a certain amount of energy to the circumstance and then allowing that to find you. And it's funny how the more often you do that, even when you feel like you're going through a tough time or you're stuck, somebody doing that one nice thing back to you can just be that spark that allows you to have faith in humanity again, or just by coincidence or synchronicity, that was that thing that you needed at that time, and all the effort that you have put into your world, or this intention that you've had to try and give your best self to everybody, will come back, as long as you leave that door open to have that connection, and even give other people an opportunity to be there to support you. Because if you can recognize a time in your life where a friend of yours was going through a hard time, it feels good to be able to be present with them and offer support, and even potentially say something that they needed to hear to help them along. That feels really good for us. So then when we leave that door open and we actually provide that opportunity to our friends to be that person for us, we're giving them a chance to feel good and feel like they're supporting somebody and having a purpose for their life as well, just by you guys being friends and having this reciprocal relationship of being there for each other. And so I hope these ideas have been helpful. If you feel like you've been struggling with the accountability and the mindset around making some of these small but impactful changes in your life, I have a link in the description below. You can check that out if you want. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.
Hands up, let it go, let the pressure fade. Little wins every day, yeah, they stack and stay.